Barnaul is back in the US thanks to our friends at MKS Supply. Now, Barnaul, for those of you who weren't familiar with it, is a Russian-produced steel-cased ammo available in lots of rifle and pistol calibers. I want to talk about why I'm excited about this and things you should know about steel-cased ammo. Coming up next on GBGuns. So to start things off, of course, it's great to see steel-cased ammo and another ammo supplier in the US because, well, supply and demand. The more supply tends to drive down price, also creates some competition, which means that other steel ammo makers can't stick it to you as much, and the brass case ammo loaders have a little more work to do to maintain your loyalty. That is clean. Look at that. Very nicely done. So part of why I'm excited about this, aside from, of course, supply and demand economics, is Barnaul makes pretty darn good stuff. We took out some of this 223 ammo and ran 600 rounds of it non-stop through a variety of carbines when we did our multi-optics test. And carbines and AR pistols, zero malfunctions whatsoever. Everything fed and fired as it should have. Now, some of you might have questions about steel-cased and have heard terrible rumors or horror stories about what steel-cased ammo can do to your guns. So let's talk about that. First one is that steel-cased ammo will damage your gun. That could be true if your barrel is softer than this steel. And if you believe that your barrel is softer than the steel that these casings are made out of, I highly suggest you find another firearm or maybe get some more education before you continue shooting, because that's really just silly. There are plenty of tests out there, including from folks like the NRA, where they found that it can cause increased wear after about 140,000 rounds. 140,000 rounds. And if you consider the money that you save with steel-cased over brass-cased on that, you can afford a whole new gun by the time you get there, let alone a barrel replacement or two. So that's all hogwash. The second one is that it's dirty. I'll roll in a picture if I can find it that I posted up on Instagram of the night that I loaded 600 rounds of this by hand into AR magazines, and to show you what my thumb looked like afterwards. Completely clean, a slight tint. Now the tint comes from this 223 ammo. You can see it says labeled here is polymer coated steel case. There is a slight light coating of polymer on this casing. It's not the powdery stuff like some of the manufacturers, just a nice slick coating on there, and that's there to prevent rust. All right, that's all that's there for. That can build up a little bit in your gun if you don't clean it and you fire thousands of rounds. That's the only time that it really becomes an issue. The powder stuff got kind of messy. I'm glad to see that Barnaul is not doing that. The other way of avoiding rust and ensuring smooth, slick feeding is lacquering the case, like the 76239. And the only complaints or messes that have come from that is that sometimes the sealant or the lacquer on the back here can end up getting built up on your bolt face, and that could potentially impede the firing pin. If you guys watch a lot of meltdown videos like a wreck bed or something like that, you might have seen those. Keep in mind though, those are guns that are getting extremely hot, firing hundreds and hundreds of rounds full auto continuously. In everyday shooting, you're not going to experience that. It's nothing to worry about as long as you maintain your gun. So it's not going to damage your gun. It's a lot less expensive and pretty good quality for steel case. A lot of people think of steel case as cheap. Keep in mind too, if you're an AK guy, that the AK and most of those Soviet firearms were developed with steel cases in mind. So they have a very violent extraction, which means when you put brass cased ammo in them, sometimes that extraction is so violent that it'll shear the casing. Steel's a little stronger. People are concerned about other issues with steel, such as you can't reload it. True, but you're saving a lot of money in buying less expensive ammo. So that kind of negates, especially if you're someone like myself who doesn't reload because you're looking for that factory repeatable performance, that's not an issue. steel it's not as elastic as brass. So when the round detonates and this casing expands to the shape of the chamber, it's not going to bounce back to its original shape as much as brass does. So sometimes that can lead to a little bit of extraction issues. This is why we run steel-cased ammo in all of our What's for Dinner tests, to see how the guns extract. Very few guns these days, well-made guns, well-maintained guns, are going to have any issue with that. And if they were, guess what? That lacquer that's on here for rust prevention, or the polymer coating, helps ease in extraction. So that's not really something to worry about either. Really, all the concerns that are out there are old wives' tales, range lore, what have you, that might have at one point been partially based on fact, but have been retold on the internet so many times and on in gun store showroom floors, that now they've become this crazy concept that this stuff is bad for you. It's not at all. The next question I had was on accuracy about these. Now, I didn't expect a whole lot. This stuff's a lot cheaper than even your basic mil spec. So Burgundy Bomber and I hit the range with the Midnight Dragon from Double Star and our Stag Varminter. Both of them are sub-MOA rifles with the right ammunition. Wanted to see how they do with this affordable stuff. I'll roll in that footage so you can watch it. We did have some target cam issues, but basically she and I each shot 5 rounds of this ammunition from each gun at the same target. So you're seeing a 10-shot group from 2 shooters, just to show you what the overall consistency of the ammo is. We ended up, as I recall, and you'll have to see in the footage, I want to say it was 1.5 to 2.5 MOA. And those are in rifles that are so precise, really it comes down to just the ammunition. I'd say that's more than acceptable for plinking ammo, practice ammo, or even just getting to learn how to shoot well. It's not going to be tack driver, it's not intended to be, but it's a whole lot more affordable, and makes for some fun shooting, affordable shooting. I'm just glad to see this stuff back. That's all I can say. Barnaul is a well-established, high-quality ammunition loader. I'll roll in some of the shooting footage at the end for you to take a look at, but really just wanted to put that out there so that you understand the pros and cons of steel-cased ammo, and to try to put to bed some of the terrible, lame rumors that are out there that are just inaccurate. So the Barnaul ammo is back on the market. We've taken it out and shot it in carbines and proved it didn't damage the gun and went bang every time. What I'm curious about, knowing that this is not meant to be precision ammunition, it's affordable ammo, is how does it group? So we've got the Stag Varminter here, and of course the Double Star Midnight Dragon, 2 sub-MOA guns. Burgundy Bomber is going to shoot 5 out of each gun at a target, and Graham will shoot 5 out of each gun at a target. That way we've got 2 guns, 2 shooters, 10 round groups, no excuse. To see how this stuff does, hoping most steel case ammo is 3 MOA or worse. We'll see how the Barnaul does. Alright, so what you're looking at is 10 shots from each gun, 5 shots from each shooter. The left side here is the Double Star Midnight Dragon. We ended up about 2.5 inches high by about 3 inches wide, but most of them landing within, I'd say, 1.5 inches of each other. This is with the Stag Varminter, and once again with most of our dispersion being width, which is typically shooter error, so we're to blame for that, but it's about the same dimensions, just located slightly differently. So from 2 different shooters and 2 different guns, you see that this Barnaul ammo is probably about 2 MOA, which really isn't bad for inexpensive steel-cased ammo.